Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. This is just going to be a quick video. You all know that I'm working on this Kingquad and I'm trying to kind of chip away at everything to fix it up. This is the seat it came with, right? Pluses, minuses. If you at least have the seat bucket, the bottom of the seat, whatever you want to call it, you could carve yourself a piece of foam and you could buy yourself a seat cover and move yourself along. Well, when I find myself in this kind of situation where I need a seat, what I start doing is pinging eBay. Like every night, every other night, I'll do a quick search, you know, Kingquad, 1999, vintage, 4x4, 300. Is there a seat out there? And it just so happened, it's raining on my parade now, that there was this seat. The person who sold me the seat, I forgot where this thing was from. It wasn't the same person as with the speedometer, though I probably should have asked them. Anyway, the person who sold me this seat, they wanted $80 for it, shipping included. I obviously really wanted it because it had been a while where it did not show up. So I offered $75. They took it and I got the seat. The seat also came with this seat cover, which I thought was pretty cool. Right, it's kind of camouflage, and the seat cover has a little tear in it. As a matter of fact, the camouflage goes pretty well. API Outdoors made the cover. Camouflage actually goes pretty well with it. So I think I'm going to patch up the seat cover and actually put that on, and I may order another seat cover. Now, let's just do a few minutes worth of math on this thing and see where we're at. I purchased it, right? This was no freebie. I got it home. I replaced the carb and the air filter. Not very much money, about $30 for those two items. Then I put in a battery, which was $50. That takes me to $80, right? And then another $80, right? $160, and now the seat, another $80, which takes me to what? $240. And what else do we have going on here? This front tire seems to like to take air frequently, and depending on how it's spun around, which way is looking up, or even looking at this front tire, right, you could see on this 20-year-old all-terrain vehicle that it's looking, it could really use a set of new front tires. I haven't looked up that exact size, but I'm probably looking at another $120. Okay, that would take my 240 to 360, and I still need to fool around with the gas tank. My guesstimate, I don't know it to be true yet, but I'm probably going to end up having to put a new valve on the bottom of the tank, right? So I'm on my way to $400. And by the way, this thing, once it got a fresh carb, started right up, right? It fired right up. So, and it also cost me the back window of my truck, right? I did replace that with insurance, but we don't know whether or not the insurance company is going to expect to be reimbursed for that. You guys could give me some numbers about where you are. A 1999 Kingquad in halfway decent shape, right? One could power wash it off and then mass things up and, you know, repaint, you know, give the bars here a rattle can, repaint. It looks like the plastic's in halfway decent shape. I'd say this is about a $1,500 quad where I live. you know, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. If you keep the old speedometer and you convince the person that it only has 1,200 miles on it and not 32, one might get a little bit more for it. But then you also have to explain how you purchased this thing, you fixed it up, and you're reselling it. Most of the time around me, people get very suspicious if they pick up on the idea that you're up to that kind of activity. So, I don't know. If you guys could just let me know, you know, just put down a number, approximately what this would be worth, where you're from, and, you know, you don't have to give me your home address or anything, but if you can say, you know, Northern Ohio, or, you know, Central Pennsylvania, or the Hudson Valley of New York, or whatever, what these things would go for. I don't know. I think once it's washed, it'll actually look pretty nice, right? You wash it up, you armor all the tires, and that. It's actually a pretty good looking machine. All the lights work, right? Front, back. It does have the toolkit. Yeah, I think with a little judicious spray paint, right, one could clean it up. Yeah, I'd call it, once again, $1,500 by me, plus or minus $300. You know, maybe 12. You know, maybe somebody who's going to put a plow on it might give you 15 to 18, right? They already own the plow. You know, call it 1,500. It's probably 1,500, right? The key switch is nice. The odometer looks good. Once the seat's on there, especially if that cover's cleaned up and everything else, 1,500's a good number. By the way, it's not for sale. But if you guys, once again, could let me know approximately where you are and approximately what this would go for, I would be very, very interested. So far, I've also in the videos on this thing, I've kind of talked about the price of what a battery costs, what a pair of front tires cost, what the speedo cost me, what the used seat cost me, and so forth. Some seats, if they're hard to get, are closer, and if they're in really nice shape, like a nice Honda ATC 200S seat, they can work their way toward the $150 mark. A nice gas tank, an ATC 200S, or even one of these ATC 200s, a nice gas tank could be in the hundreds of dollars. A Clark gas tank, I think you can still get them for the 200S and so forth, new, but by the time you put the spigot on the bottom and so forth, you're on your way to $150. I think I'm going to be able to save this gas tank. If you put your nose in here, you can smell rotten dinosaur eggs, but it's one of those horrible tasks. So I've been avoiding it, but I'm just about to the point where now that the seat's done, the speedo's done, everything else is done, I need to do the gas tank and we could get it out for a real romp. So I got to stop fooling around and make that happen. I keep walking back and forth because I'm trying to get a good image of this thing. You know, when they on YouTube, when they tell you, you know, make sure you put an interesting image up in the beginning to get people to watch the videos. I don't know. Some people are better at that than I am, perhaps. Anyway, how's that for an image? I think from the front it always looks better. Anyway, I want you all to keep your feet down, your heads up, and if you live out by me in the Hudson Valley, it's starting to rain. You might want to come in out of the rain and start covering your toys. Bye now.